Hey, what's up, guys? This is Jake from Power Gaming or OPG, whatever you want to call me. Tots for life. I don't know, whatever you guys want to fucking call me. I could care less. So for right now, we got some Dark Souls 3 footage, as I promised. And as you know, it's been a while since I've been YouTubing, but I wanted to bring you guys some Dark Souls 3 footage because this shit was looking pretty fucking hot. I mean, the graphics for this is actually just really nice, and how it moves is just fucking phenomenal. Now, the thing with Dark Souls 3, it's a lot different from 1, but it brings a lot of memories back, as you can see. But Dark Souls 3 is more based on fast pacing movement, unlike Dark Souls 1 was slow pacing movement, which obviously makes it hard. But the catch with this is that even though it's fast pacing movement, I feel that it might require more skill. But I don't think it's competing as the difficulty with Dark Souls 1. But for right now, this is my character. I believe that this game is really good depending on the class you are. Now, they say that mages aren't as overpowered as. I'm not exactly sure. I have not checked it out. I still have to. But as you can see, for right now, I'm using a two-handed weapon as a warrior, or as a knight, as you can call me. And if you do a certain amount of steps, you can actually make your weapons actually very, very powerful in here. And I'm seeing as a mage from doing some of the classes, you can actually make some pretty strong weapons that you could use as a mage, slash a warrior, or mage slash a cleric, which is basically the same thing as a mage slash a knight. But as I explain further into this, it just shows you a little bit of what you can do as in this. Okay, so for right here that we have a quick pause. See, right now I just want to go into a little bit of display of what I have and the weapons I have in here that I've already recorded. And this is just showing a little bit minor weapons that I haven't sold at all. And as you can see here that I'm just switching up weapons to use to go again. So right now I have a one-handed weapon and I have a two-handed weapon from the dancer. And even though that doesn't do that much damage, sadly with the L2, it does a really good amount of damage with the R2 if you level it up. Now, obviously it takes a long while, so you need to have a good strength and good dexterity, which is required, I think, 20 dexterity and not that high of strength. But the only reason it's doing this much damage as well is because of my strength. So we're seeing, it has a pretty good moveset, which I will probably show in another video, and I think it does look really nice. It's very flashy, yes, but is it really powerful for what it is? No, it's just more flash. Unless you can upgrade and have extremely high dexterity and high strength, it won't do much. But for what it's worth, if you have high strength, it's a really good weapon. If you're in the early area like Lothric, it can help you. But obviously, since it is from a person, or I should say a boss in Lothric, it will be a lot harder to obtain because, well, the boss is very, very difficult to beat. But if you are a good enough skilled, you can beat the boss around a good level 40 some to 50 some. But that is required with skill and understanding the boss. Now with going up around, I'm just basically just searching around over through Lothric of places I haven't been and places I have been. So yeah. So a good thing getting into here is, well, color depth. Now, a good thing that I have paid attention to here is color changing and how color really advances the environment. As you notice, if you went back a little bit to where that guy was sitting down, you could see the flashing light. They really did pay attention, close detail to how light really does affect a room or an area. And I found that is really good. As you look at the fire swords, like, you can basically use them as, well, a torch. And even though that's a really good idea, it makes sense because, well, it's fire, it's going to light up, it's an element. And it makes sense, and I like how the way that they impose that into the game and input. It makes me happy because not only are you experiencing, a good PvP and a good gameplay, you're also experiencing good, good details, and I think it's worth it. Even though this may not have the best details, it still has very, well, as you can say, you can call it basically like they put thought into it, pretty much. But for right now, we are at a bonfire, and we are basically in the beginning of Lothric for right now because we wanted to, I guess, put you guys through a little bit of what it looks like in the early gameplay. So right here we have a little bit of the armor in depth, and we're showing some leggings, and I'm gonna go a little bit further into explaining, about armor weight. Now, knowing in Dark Souls, armor weight has always played a really big role in it, and as for the armor we're about to show you in a minute, Gwyndar's armor gives a great example of that. Now, Gwyndar's armor is actually very, very powerful, but it has, well, the downside to it is being its weight. And it makes sense because in real actuality, and it would make sense that, if you have a really strong padded armor, it's going to be heavier. But it is more powerful, and it does, deflect. But if you raise your vitality to a high point, it shouldn't be eventually that heavy, but that's raising it. So to make it contradicting, we had to put a light, strong armor, but also a nice and efficient one. So that's why they have armors for, like, against magic, or against poise, or against poison and fire damage and lightning damage to give you. Like the Dancer's armor, which I'm about to put on soon enough. So right here we have the Dancer's armor, and the Dancer's armor is actually really good armor. It is light, it's actually powerful, it has a lot of resistance to different magic types, and it's actually really, really beautiful looking too. Now, when you have the weapons obviously with it, it's not going to be the strongest combination. But if you have a long sword or a nice one-handed weapon that's light, or even a two-handed weapon, you'll actually do really good with this armor. It'll probably last you up to the while until you have it almost to the end, until you can find another strong, lighter armor than that. But that's unlike till you can find Oratorius' armor or the last boss battle armor. But for right now, this is actually pretty good armor. You can get really far into the game with this, and it's light, it's beautiful looking, and it's efficient. Okay, so right here we have the leveling, and right now I'm a level 92, and they required to take around 50,000 souls. And this is my leveling of how I'm doing my vigor, my attunement, and all my stuff, my strength. And over here is more around my HP, my FP, my stamina. And as for the HP, we have around 1,000 some, the FP it's not that high, and the stamina it's not that high. But you notice that it's in the big importance here. If you're a magic user, you want your FP really high, and for stamina you're going to want that high too. For more of a warrior, if you don't have a high for a warrior, it won't really matter in the end, because you do require a bit of stamina in the beginning, and of course for knights too. Another big thing that plays into here is play arts. Play arts did an amazing amount of damage, but they have more technique to it. Remembering back in Dark Souls 1 that they really didn't have that. They just had basic attacks. Now in here they have play arts, and each weapon has a different type of attack. Well, most to it. Not exactly every single weapon. But it does an amazing amount, and as we can see from here as going around, this is the two-handed weapon. It does a little bit different fighting style than the katana, as you can see from the beginning. Even though these weapons aren't that powerful, they still have a really fast attack, and if you can get a good combo on them, you can just keep rapidly hitting it. It takes a lot of damage, stamina, but you'll get a good amount of damage out, just as you see me fighting these two. It has a really nice technique to it too, so it makes me happy, and I love using it. I really, really do like using it a lot. So I would be so happy to use this in New Game Plus. Now for here, I'm going with the two-handed wielder opponent, and I used the two-handed, which I realized was actually a mistake, because he has a lot of faith, and he does a good combo on me that takes me out. So what happens is eventually I have to switch to a one-handed weapon to take him out. Now, the one-handed weapon I'm about to switch to is the katana, and the katana right now it's really powerful. It's about like 270 some damage. And I'm about to heal and see if I can take this guy out. So that's really basically it for right now. I want to talk to you about Dark Souls. I wanted to get a little bit into it to give something out to you guys at least, so you can watch and see what I'm doing and how I'm doing this game, and a little bit of my advice about different weapons here and there. So I appreciate you guys watching this. Go down to the link, look up, either watch me on Twitch or like and subscribe if you find this interesting. If you don't, it's cool, I understand. But I'll see you guys later. I thank you so much for watching. See you guys.